So, as the CEO of Offor, tell us about your company and how you use your platform to advocate or address disparities Black women face that Black women face during childbirth. I've said a mouthful. Yeah.
So O4 is a talent brokering and executive search firm, and our mission is to clear the barriers that exist for leaders in accessing the C-suite. And in particular, there are some pretty significant gaps for women writ large, but also in particular, for Black women.
Right.
And so the network of leaders and executives that we work with, they are highly accomplished. They are highly
Mm-hmm.
educated. They
Mm-hmm.
have access to resources and to opportunities. And yet we see disparities in terms of how they're treated in the interview process, how they're
Yeah.
treated when they actually step into their role. We see those things play out. And so for me, as the leader of the firm, there have been some things that have been very important to me to make clear. One is that, as Black women, we don't get to be single issue constituents. We have multiple facets of our lives and who we are, and one of them
Mm-hmm.
is that a lot of our network are mothers. And many of them have had challenges with the healthcare system.
Right.
And so for me, it was really important and has been very important for me to bring to light and to sort of peel back the mystique, because so
Yeah.
much of the story right now around Black women is that we're these heroes. There's nothing that we can't do, hashtag Black girl magic. And
Yeah.
I want to kind of take a dent to that and to
Yeah.
say, well, actually, we're human beings and we should not be expected to be superheroes to live, and that in order for us to lead, we have to be alive. And so to talk about some of the experiences and to tell my story has really helped open up other women to say,
Yeah.
oh, this happened to me too,
Yeah.
right? And then to talk about how that's impacted us in
Yeah.
our work, because those
Yeah.
things cannot be separated.
Childbirth becomes such a challenge for professional women. When is the best time? Support during the time, and the challenges they face with their career. As you speak just now, it came to me, and I'll go there because I'm hosting the show. So I'll
Yes.
take my daughter is now in college, and she is dead set on being an OBGYN. She's very concerned about inequities for African American women and other minorities with regard to childbirth. And but personally, I'm concerned about her. She's in her
Mm.
early 20s. She's in college and want to transition to med school. And I'm thinking as a dad, okay, when do you get married? When do you have a child? How is residency going to come right after med school? And as a dad, I don't want to scare her because I want her to pursue what she wants. But I would love for her to have a family and for her to have all the benefits that she deserves as a Black educated woman. And this comes to mind when you speak, Ify, because Black women are so disadvantaged, women in general, but Black women are so
Mhm.
disadvantaged on their career path, and childbirthing becomes such a challenge because society and the workplace doesn't facilitate it. How important is it for our young ladies who plan to become successful as you are to be aware of these issues and what can be done to help them?
Mhm.
I'm saying a whole lot.
Well, yeah, I appreciate the question, because many of us don't necessarily have a playbook
Yes.
for how to do that. And I can only speak from my own personal experience that I was really very fortunate to have other women who coached me along the way.
Hmm.
One, I had the opportunity to see my mother, who had 6 children, who was an immigrant from Nigeria, who was a practicing nurse in Nigeria and then had to start all over again when she came to the United States, go back
Yes.
to school.
Right.
So I had a very good role model in watching my mother and how she did, and it wasn't easy. But also, what it did teach me was how important it was to pursue opportunities professionally where I had control over my time,
Right.
and to work for individuals where I would have
Mm.
control over my time. And then as
Hmm.
soon as I felt like I would not have that control over my time, that's when I started my own firm, right? I
Yeah.
was about to get married, and I looked at my career trajectory, and I said, the people at this organization, they don't seem very happy. A lot of them
Yeah.
seem miserable. I don't want that for myself. And so I need to be able to create flexibility for myself
Right.
so that I have the time to build the networks,
Right.
the social capital
Yeah.
that will aid in my protection. Right. And so that's what I would say. And then
Yeah.
the second thing I would say is that it is so important to identify, and I did not understand at the time, but
Mm.
to identify the right partner, because that individual, people say that children hold women back in careers. I actually don't think that's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that I know there's childcare issues, and I don't mean to minimize those things. Those can
No.
be real
No. For
problems.
sure. Yeah.
But I think that what is the unspoken rule, the unspoken thing that is taboo to talk about, is that it is oftentimes partners who you are partnered with, who you end up marrying,
Yeah.
that can be the biggest impediment to a woman's ambitions
Yeah.
and her ability to have all the things that she deserves. And so I'm very fortunate that I selected a husband
Yeah.
who has supported my ambitions and could create the space and would even say things like, just take a year off,
Yeah.
right? Like you, right? So if you can do that, if you have somebody where you're
Yeah.
equally yoked, it creates an opportunity for you to have both a family and the career that you desire.
Thank you for sharing all that.
Thanks for listening to Cultivating Health Equity Stories. Remember, our mission is to amplify voices, challenge norms, and inspire change. Go to cultivatehealthequity.com, sign up on our email list, subscribe for future episodes, and find the resources mentioned in the show notes. Until next time.